It's Shannon. Thanks for tuning in today. This is my first official video, so we'll see how it goes. I did a practice one last week and the lighting was horrible, so that's why you have my makeup behind me. Anyways, so I'm going to do an eye makeup first and then a separate video with face makeup. So for the purpose of this video, I'm just gonna clip back this hair as well to get it out of my face. So I don't normally work with browns that much, but eventually I will post a video with doing brown makeup. But for the first one, I'm going to do with my go-to more neutral look. I normally do really bright colors, but that's not for everyone. So I'm going to go with a pinky neutral look, since that's a little more common nowadays and pinks are a little easier to work with. So the one I'm going to be working with is the Huda Beauty New Nude palette, which is one of my go-to palettes. I use this one all the time. As you can see, I'm hitting pan on quite a few of them, so that just goes to show. But anyways, I feel these colors, because they have pinks, some shimmers, purples, some browns with a slight rosy undertone in them. There are a lot of palettes that you can kind of go off this for. So to start, I always grab an eye primer, and I personally don't like using concealer as your eye primer because concealer is a lot thicker and wet too, and I think when you use concealer you're putting more product on your eye than you need to, which is just gonna lead to more creasing, and the whole point of primer is to not crease. So I personally like using the matte paint pot. I use soft ochre. My mom got me this color. I don't know how she picked it. Literally probably just grabbed one, knowing my mom. But I think painterly is a common color. Anyways, it's just a thick cream. And you don't have to put too much on. Sometimes I'll just scoop some up with my finger and blend it in. Or you can take even a fluffy brush and just kind of dip it in there. And then literally just run it over your eyelid. Since I go fairly high, I normally bring it basically all the way up. You can see it's not that much, but it definitely changed. And that's why you want to pick, sometimes if you're doing bright colors, people will go in with a really bright base, but I always use this shade of base. And I don't find that it really changes the color of my eyeshadow, because I know for some people, you may think, oh, if you're putting on a slightly, this one has kind of a yellow tint to it, it might completely change the color of your eyeshadow, but it doesn't. And then I personally like to go in with a big brush and then set this, just because it is a cream. So before I start going in with my eyeshadow, I like to set it, and I set it with that upper shade. So a really neutral, white, off-white, beige, anything like that. And I tap off the brush just to get all the excess powder off, so you're not layering unnecessary amount of powder. And you just do a quick run over. Again, you're not trying to build up powder here, just setting the primer down. So now that we have that all set, like I said earlier, I do my eye makeup first because I personally a lot of times will go in with a glitter or a metallic, and those tend to have more fallout. So for me personally, I just like to do the eyes first, so that if there's anything on my face, I can just clean it up and not ruin my makeup. But it's all a preference thing. I know a lot of people do their face makeup first. I've never been one of those people. So anyways, next, I didn't clean my brushes. Well, I didn't do anything crazy. So I take a fluffier brush. So this is going to be, besides that one you set your powders down with, your fluffiest brush you have, or you're going to use. And this is what I put down the transition shade with. So the transition shade is not going to be more times than not going to be your lid color, your bright color. You want to put something that's going to transition from here to here seamlessly. It's going to blend well with other colors. So I typically go in with like a light brown, a light pink. Sometimes if I'm doing like a super bright color, I'll do like a little bit of brown, but a lot of like more yellow. Looking at your palette, like you'll normally be able to tell which ones are the transition shade. Like in this palette, this dark purple is not a transition shade, nor is that. Really, these more browns are going to be your transition shades, or even like this pink could be, but it's not my go-to. I will use it, so you'll get to see how it blends with my transition shade. But in this case, I'm going to go in with Secret, which is this one. And with this fluffy brush, I'm going to tap it in, and once again, tap off the extra. I don't know if you can see, but a decent amount does come off. So I always tap, just so like I said, you're not going in with excess powder, because it's easier to add more than subtract. So then you start on like your brow bone, kind of a little lower, like your crease basically. And when using a transition shade in a lot of colors, in fact, you want to hold your brush loosely at the end. The tighter you hold it, the more pressure you're putting on your eye. So you're going to end up with more compact coloring. With a transition shade, you really want it to blend. So you want to go in with a really light hand. So, like I said, I just windshield wiper motion it. And I kind of follow my eyebrow shape. So I never go all the way up to my eyebrow. I want to leave a gap there, because eventually I'll put a brighter shade to fill that. And I just kind of go straight out and in, over and over, and that's my first layer. So you can see a tiny bit of color compared to this eye. And I'm just going to add a little bit more. Like this. I'm not really touching much lower. I haven't hit the corners yet down there. I'm just hitting the crease. So I got that eye done, and I'm just going to do it quickly on this side, just to match it. Actually though, to make it better for you guys, I'm just going to do one eye, and then I'll do the other one off camera. That seems like it would save you guys time, so let's do that. So now that I have the transition shade down, blend it out, you can go in with your next shade. So in this case, this was the brush I did for the transition shade, and this is the one I'm going to use next. So it's a little narrower, but still puffy. It's not a dense brush at all. And this is the color that I typically put right in the crease. So a little lower. So right here. And for this is normally, if I'm not going all over with a bright color or something like that, this is where I'll typically go in with a color. For some looks, I'll do a color all over, but in this case, I'm going to end up putting a glitter here, a shimmer here. So I'm going to go in with this one right here, which is a like pinky rose color, and a lot of palettes have a color like this, so that's perfect. And I'm hitting pan on it, so again, just shows how much I use it. It's going to be really sad when, you know, when you hit pan and the colors you use the most, but then I'm going to have all these other colors, but it's like, I want these colors, so do I have to go buy another palette for $65, or like, should I just finish it off and then buy it on? The struggle. So anyways, let's go with that pink. Once again, this is a little smaller of a brush. Tap it off. Can't see it that well, but powder comes off. And I start more in the corner here, but a little higher. You can't see because of the brush angle. And I start, it hits my lid a little bit, but I'm really in that crease. slightly lower than the transition, but also you're kind of overlapping with it again, because your whole point of the transition shade is that it's going to blend in seamlessly with the other colors. Accidentally hit a different color. So in this case, I'm going to go back in with the pink. And I do kind of touch the corner just to get some color there. And once again, we're going more into the crease than more into the lid than last time. So even lower. Oh boy. Yeah, so this is one of those where like I'm not using that many colors. So far we've used 2, and I'm basically going to use another color for the corner just to darken it up, and then I personally choose to just put a light shimmer on my eye. So it's very easy and could be done in literally like 5 minutes, because these aren't super intense colors. You're not working with deep colors that are going to require a lot more effort with blending. These colors should blend out fairly easily to where you could just throw this on, be done with it. Trying to get a good angle for you guys to really see. Again, I also normally go back in and I'll move my light after it's all done, but let's see. Yeah, it's not working well, guys. I guess that's what happens when it's your first video, you know. Just gotta work with what you can, but there is a pinky tint to it, that's for sure. So, now that we have the pink down and the transition, well, I then go in with the shimmer I want to use. So, this one has more like, I'm so bad at like distinguishing. So there's mattes, which I obviously know, and then textures and multi-reflective shadows and pearls and glitters and textures, so there's just like random ones, but this glitter this is more of a pressed one, just has like a tiny sheen to it. But then there's ones like this, which is much more this one's more, I would say, it's not a metallic at all, but it has more base color, and the other two are more of just a sheen. This one is kind of having like a more metallic vibe in the pickup of the camera, but it's not metallic. But in this case, I'm just going to go in with the, let's see, do I want to do a pinky one or a gold one? I'm going to go in with this pink, the more pink tone, and then I'll use the gold in other places so you guys can see it. And I personally pick these up with my fingers because that's what I do with most glitters, because glitters do not, anything with a shine, I should say, glitters do not pick up well on brushes all the time. And if you are going to use a brush, highly recommend wetting it so that it sticks to the brush. And you're not using fluffy brushes. I normally use a brush like this, so it's more compact. If you use a fluffy brush, you're just blending like that glitter out instead of packing it on. So I will sometimes like grab it, pick it up, and then you can pack it on. But like I said, I would normally wet that as well. So once you have that down, then it's up to you. Like, you could just leave it like this because I do have that pink I personally want to incorporate the other shimmer a little more. So I'm going to put a gold in the center just because the gold is a little brighter. And it will make your eyes pop even more. See that? You can see it when I look down. There's just a slight more reflection in the middle now. And then I'm also going to take, I'm not going to use that gold under my eyebrow because it's a little too pressed, and it's more of a pearl. Like it said, it's not a consistent color, and you can see the flecks in both of these, so it's not going to be a solid, it's not going to have the same look all across your eye. It'll reflect differently in some spots. I don't want that under here. But then I personally like to go in with a little darker of a color on the outer corner, just to add even more dimension. So this is what we're working with. I'm very annoyed with this lighting. I guess I need to become like a real influencer and get like a real ring light, but right now we don't have that. So anyways, I'm going to go in with this color because I used that pink. And this one's just slightly darker. Some people would use like a brown now. Like I'm not a fan of browns. And I'm taking a more compact brush because you're doing the corner. You're going to want to pack it on a little more. You're not trying to blend it. You want it to be darker. Still tap it off though. And then I'm going to pack it on. I personally normally go to like here. It's up to you, but definitely don't go past like the middle of your eye, or like you don't want it to be at the middle. You want it to be the corner. If you go to the middle, you're not getting the same dimension. You're trying to elongate. So, also, Jeffree Star mirror. Check it out. I personally need a hand mirror when I do my makeup. I normally use this mirror, which is my LED light mirror, but I still need a hand mirror just to get up close and personal to my face, which sometimes I don't want to be that up close, but you know, gotta see it. So now that I packed on that color, I will go back in with that fluffy brush we used earlier, or something like this, which is a little flatter, not as fluffy. So I'm actually going to use that one, and it still works a little better for blending because it has more fluff to it. And I bring it up into the crease a little more, once I'm up there, I bring it in a little more. Then we're going to go back and go in with that lighter pink. Just kind of circle it around, go back through, really make sure everything's blended, and then I go back in with that transition shade we started with, and do one last sweep through. And I'm going to grab my highlighter. So we're going to use a highlighter under the brow bone. And since I did a pink look, kind of, I'm going to use my pink Jeffree Star, which someone shattered this on my floor, which was very devastating, but there's a trick. I can't remember what it uses. I want to say it was rubbing up some kind of, I don't know, you'd have to Google it, where you could mix it and then it presses it back in. I wasn't sure how it worked with highlighter, would it lose the shimmer, but I don't think it's what it used to be, but it still works pretty well. And especially with my face highlighter, I spray my brush down a lot, so it works. And then I pick this up and I just go under my brow bone just to catch that light. And I also go in the inner corner. Normally I would do the inner corner after because I put concealer and all this stuff under my eyes, so it kind of defeats the purpose because it's just going to get covered up. So, but for the sake of this, I will put in some highlighter to brighten the inner corner. That's one of my favorite steps, and everyone should do it because everyone wants their eyes to look bigger, and the pop in the center, you can see in the reflection at times, like, it picks up and it really brightens your eye. So this is like, it's kind of, I also am using like my natural lighting from the outdoors, and it's a little funky. Okay, so this is a little better. So you can see we got that going on. Oh, there we go. Okay. Don't mind my skin down there. Anyways, so, oh, in my closet. That's it, because I'm not, you can kind of see the reflection it gives, but I promise you it's there. Also, not everyone likes using a glitter, so if you don't want to use anything with a shine and you just want a purely matte look, you could go in with that pink that I used all over, and you could just go all over your lid, and then with that, you definitely want to put something in the corner, and then I would still do the inner highlight though, and then, or you could just go in with like a really neutral brown, like a light one. You don't have to use glitter is what I'm saying. I know a lot of people don't like to. So now that we did that eyeshadow, I'm going to put on some eyeliner, and I personally use the Kat Von D tattoo liner. It is my favorite. Sorry, I redid my makeup and I forgot where I was putting everything. Okay, so here's all my eyeliner, and yeah, I use the Kat Von D tattoo liner for my upper, and this is a liquid eyeliner, which is my preference on the top. I think it goes on smoother, and they'll typically dry more matte than a pencil liner. And it has a very fine print, or tip. So it's easy. I don't have very steady hands, so eyeliner is not my strong suit at all. So I'm going to be silent when I do this. Oh, Lord. So I just messed up, and when that happens, just going to leave it. Okay, so one thing I'm very bad at is making it completely even, but like, once you have mascara and stuff on, like, it's just something I need to work on. And I absolutely cannot do a wing eyeliner because, well, I've never really practiced, so maybe I could, but I have vision problems in this eye, so when I do my right eye eventually, I cannot shut my right eye. I have to have it open, or else I can't see what I'm doing, because my left eye, I'm blind, for those that did not know. I cannot see out of my left eye, really, technically. So if I shut my right eye, I literally can't see what's in front of me. Literally can barely see this mirror. So that is my struggle with eyeliner. But we did it. I do have a mess up, so I'm just going to let that dry down. And then once it's dry, it won't smudge as much, and I'm just going to kind of use a wet makeup wipe or something and just kind of get that spot cleaned up. If it was mascara where it might clump up, then you definitely wait till it dries, and you might not even have to use a makeup wipe. You could go in with like a spoolie, which is, in case you don't know, something like this, and just pick it up. Fun trick. Now we're going to go in with mascara, and I have a lot of mascaras. I actually just cleaned it out though, but my current go-to has been to use the Benefit Roller Lash because of the way the brush is. it really does have more of a curl to them. So I just throw on a quick layer of that. And you can curl your eyelashes before. For some reason, I always forget this step, and if I end up remembering to curl my lashes, I do it in between coats, which I'll probably do today. A lot of people say, like, you're not supposed to curl your eyelashes once, like, you have mascara on because it makes them more likely to tear, but, like, I just pull it apart really gently. Okay, so that is, well, as you can see, my giant smudge. That is the mascara, and that is not mascara, so hopefully you can see the difference. Like I said, I just put on one really quick layer. So while that dries and I wait to put on a different mascara as a second layer, I'll just show you what I would do on my lower lashes normally. Again, this is something I would typically do after my foundation. But in this case, I'm going to mix that transition shade with that light pink shade, just on another denser brush, and run it across, probably starting at more like the halfway mark on your lash line. And make sure you're blending it with that corner. It should kind of create an, like they should meet. Under eye shadow is not for everyone. I personally always do it really because I think it just makes the look way more cohesive when it really all comes together. But I will then take the darker shade and put it right on the outer corner only. And then I will take a lighter shade. Where did that brush go? I'm just going to use the same brush I used for my highlight. And take a lighter shade. In this case, I'm probably just going to use the highlight. And knead it with the other. And that is under eyeshadow. So you really just kind of sweep it across. And now, eyeliner on the bottom. So once again, to make my eyes look bigger, I prefer to use a pink on the whole waterline. It's a really light pink. And it's Marc Jacobs. And I had heard about this eyeliner, and I finally asked for it for Christmas. And I tell you, I will never use another pencil eyeliner unless, like, sometimes for work I grab my drugstore one, which is my, just like an Essence, which is so cheap at the drugstore, by the way. I think this was like $2. But I will always use Marc Jacobs, like, for high end. So it's a really light pink, and I use this because it's more, it opens your eyes more than a black. And also when you do it, see that? Under eyes, don't tug. You just want to, like, gently open them up. And some people don't even need to hold them because you don't want wrinkles. Anyways, so it opens it up much, much more to make my eyes look even, well, not even bigger because I do not have big eyes. So that's why I like doing the pink, but I don't only use pink. I do use black, and I also use Marc Jacobs black. Currently, I have a travel size because I was lucky and got it, but I will pay for it eventually. And I only use the black probably in the outer third, I would say. I don't know. I'm not measuring, but not halfway. So I just grab it, and I'll do that on the outer third. And a lot of times I'll take, like, a pencil brush or a lip brush, I think, and I'll just blend it a little more with that pink. And there we go. And then some days, like, I'll put a black eyeshadow instead, or, like, something to set it down. Like, if I'm going to be out all night, too, an eyeshadow with, like, a powder on top will help to set that cream on your waterline. But I am in quarantine. I'm not going out, so I will not be doing that today. But, okay, so now it's been long enough with my mascara, so I'm going to grab an eyelash curler and just curl those babies. And like I said, slowly separate it. And then I just kind of like blink in. There we are. So then after I do that, I've been using the Bad Gal Bang. And it's also by Benefit. And the reason I don't normally use this one on its own is because this one's more for volume and it does not really curl your lashes. So that's why I like the roller lash one first. This one, also, I've had problems with, like it could get clumpy, so you have to just be careful. It has a very flimsy brush head, like it's not as stiff. So I don't go in with that much. I do wipe it off and just kind of go in with a little. And then put on a quick coat of that. Got some clump in there. Okay. And if you're noticing a clump that you do not want, because who wants that? You grab your tweezers and just kind of run them through. And separate them. Or like even use like your fingers a little. Pick up that excess and just kind of run it back and forth. And then I put mascara on the bottom, and I use the roller lash one because, again, it has that curve. I have a mini in this one, so that's what I use. And it hugs the lash line really well, but I'm not going to do it because, like I said, I'm going to put concealer on, and that will really, like, bleed with the concealer. So, let's see. I'm going to pause it and do my other eye off camera, and I will be right back. Okay, so we got both eyes done. Here it is. Trying to get you. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that's the finished look. So that is that. And then soon to come, I'm going to do my favorite eyeshadow look, which is bright pink, which is not for everyone, but playing with fun colors can be really exciting once you get the hang of it. And it's actually not as hard as you would think, so stay tuned and see in the future how I do my neon eyeshadow. And also check out my how to do my going out face makeup, which is coming up next.